cube will now initiate.
Hey Curvis, it's Jemmy, and I am stoked to bring you this next SOLOCAST for episode number 116, where I will be diving into the idea of building your personal network. So, let me quickly catch you up on my own Curvis adventures, and we'll get right to it. Alright, I had my first consulting convo with Glenn, and it was awesome. I thought I was already thinking big, but now I'm thinking real big. So, there's been an idea floating around in my head for about a year now for a podcast network, and I kind of started putting some efforts behind it, but I couldn't put the cart before the horse, and I really need to make this show better and build my skills up more as a podcaster first. Well, this conversation with Glenn was perfectly timed because I am now ready to focus on the idea of a network and what I want it to be. And after talking to him, I'm now thinking so big, and I've started fleshing out the ideas. Hint, there will be more than one network. Ooh. I also had a call with Rob Walsh over at Lipson about it, which just adds to my excitement that much more. And I can't wait to start putting some steam behind it, building it, and getting it going. In fact, phase 1 should be ready here within the next few weeks, guys, so that will kind of be your first big clue. All right, I'm also still working behind the scenes a lot on the relaunch of the Eggheads After Hours podcast with co-hosts Kate Volman and Aaron Warmus, aka Again Clematis. That is scheduled to re-debut on July 3rd, so yay for that. Let's see. Also, I've received, this is awesome. I received final confirmation from Jared Easley that I will be attending and helping out at Podcast Movement, which is coming up in August in Anaheim, California. So thank you, Jared, for that opportunity. I won't be a speaker this year, but hey, there's always next year, right, guys? And finally here, I'm hosting another Palm Beach Podcasters meetup group Friday, June 2nd. So if you are one of my most dedicated listeners hearing this within the first day or two of release, then you know about it ahead of time and can go. So go to palmbeachpodcasters.com for more info. We're having a very special guest from WayFM Radio, P. Desmond Adams, known on air as Pablo. So if it is after June 2nd when you are hearing this, well, now you know to tune in earlier next time. All right, this is your host, Jemmy, and with that, I'll say sit back and relax and listen to this, the 116th episode of the Curve of the Cube podcast about building your network. Enjoy! It is not only advantageous, but essential, and thereby very important, to build yourself a personal network while navigating your passion pursuit. Why, you ask? Well, who wouldn't want the support of your peers when working hard and struggling to get yourself made? Who's going to understand your struggles? Those times when you want to pull your hair out and give up and start questioning everything, or can't find your way through a seemingly insurmountable obstacle. We are a select tribe, people, and no one understands our level of crazy, commitment, like another who's in it. Oh my God, there have been so many times when I felt so desperate, lonely, frustrated, misunderstood, all because I didn't have anyone to relate to about my commitment to my late nights, the power I was feeling in suddenly believing in myself, the sacrifices and choices I was willing to make, and the pain that came along with many of them. That feeling of being alone in your struggle, well, that's just about as hard as the struggle itself. And finding your tribe can do wonders for all of that. So for me, having the common experiences from people who are podcasters and from people who are single parents has been huge in combating the no one gets it feelings that can make me want to scream. Oh. And aside from your budding network acting like a therapy resource, even if they never know it, They can also be a wealth of good old information. Each industry is fraught with its own pitfalls and blessed with its own winning strategies. So, having a good group of people in your corner who are going after the same goals or have even already achieved them can be quite the asset. They can help you navigate those industry pitfalls you never, ever would have seen coming, or help you look for opportunities in places where you never, ever would have thought to look. Another way they help you stay up on the latest information, well, perhaps someone in your network managed to make it to that local workshop or big industry event you wanted to go to but couldn't. So now, in your next conversation with them, well, you can kind of pick their brain and find out all that they picked up. Also, a good network can introduce you to the right people, which can cause the greatest of domino effects for you. Sometimes that person who will make a major difference in your career is just 1 degree of separation away, Kevin Bacon style. So start shaking some hands, people. Shake them like Kevin Bacon shook his booty in Footloose. Shake some hands and make some changes happen. Always Billy takes one butt or one hand. Not together. Make some changes happen. All right. And now that you have current info from your network and great peers to talk to, you can also practice the critical component of always being learning. Take those new industry trends you've heard about and research more. Google it. Find out what solid examples might be out there and start exploring the opportunities. So, for example, I remember when drones just started coming out on the real estate scene about, a year, 2, 3 ago maybe. And what a difference it's made in showing off a property. See, here we go, asking one of those questions again. Like I can see people raise hands or say, yes, it's me. But how many of you have ever seen any of those cool shots that they come out with now? They're pretty amazing. It's fantastic and smart new trends for agents to latch into. And as a side note, honestly, it's a really smart opportunity for drone pilots to capitalize on too. And on the flip side, along with that side note, drone technology has also provided a brand new industry pitfall. Since up until recently, properties, homes, office buildings, whatever, they've been shot almost exclusively from the ground. And imperfections you might see skyside could be easily cleaned up with Photoshop. Well, with drones, that is no longer the case. Now you're talking about overhead video shots. And on non-luxury properties, they're so cheap, pretty much any agent can order a drone for almost any property. And now there's suddenly competition to give your property the best showcase and compete with everybody else's showcases. So agents and sellers now have to be sure that all of those roof tiles and backyard shots are pristine. So with the new industry trend of using drone tech, as this example shows, there's a lot more for real estate agents to take into consideration when staging the scene and shooting the property. But the drone shots, when done right, can turn out to be just such a spectacular showcase. So agents and meeting each other and shaking hands and talking to another, they could have been on the cusp of that great trend and done it right from the get-go and not fallen into those mistakes. No matter what you're pursuing, your next great idea can be just one conversation away. Also, staying up on current trends and constantly feeding new, fresh ideas into the machine will naturally keep up your energy stores. You'll be excited to keep looking at your craft differently and regularly doing something new with it. And just finding a new outlook or angle on how to brand yourself or market yourself, create your thing, or add to your scope can be amazingly revitalizing. Look, being a curvist is a grind. It can be draining in every sense of the word. And the worst outcome is giving up or simply fading away at it. So any which way you can, cheat your energy bank and revitalize it, do it. Try new approaches to your craft. Create a special series, explore a new outlet or venue, partner with a friend on a project, whatever. Just keep things new and take advantage by building a network. Plus, having a network of supporters to turn to means that you won't have to do everything yourself. Sometimes, even just the time a well-placed call can save you, and having to think through a problem on your own can be priceless. For example, the other day I was struggling, trying to think of a new place to hold my next Palm Beach Podcasters meetup. For a variety of reasons, a steady location has been my Achilles heel. My members are great. I've had amazing people volunteer to present to the group. All of that has been awesome. But finding a new place to meet nearly every time has been so frustrating. Ugh. And I was about 3 days past the deadline I had given myself to announce this next event, which happens to be tomorrow, June 2nd, second plug. All because I couldn't find a place. Ugh. So, in a moment of absolute brilliance, I called my homegirl Teresa. See, she has a knack for finding meeting places and spaces in the most random spots, and she did not let me down. Our meetup will be taking place at a PGA Tour Superstore, of all places. So random. And I'm so relieved. I had been banging my head against a wall for days, making phone call after phone call, but I kept striking out. The time I would have saved if I had just called Teresa in the first place. But that is the power of a good network. She really helped me out. Thanks, Teresa. Reach her at Muse with Me, by the way. But there are so many things that drain our every effort when going for a dream. I mean, how much blood, sweat, and literal tears, okay, almost literal, did I waste trying to find a spot for my meetup? And I'm just so passionate about it. But the effort was draining. But because I had the benefit of a good network homegirl, she solved the problem for me, or helped me solve the problem, I should say. So lean on your network, or in my case, also my friend. So now you know the importance, the criticality, I don't think that's a word, but whatever, of building a good, strong network. Now, what should your network look like? I remember getting a random cryptic text nearly a year ago from a guy I used to work with. Very out of the blue. When I got on the phone with him, I had no idea what to expect. Well, it ended up being a great call. First of all, he started off by showering me in my work. I mean, who wouldn't want to hear that? And in essence, he was calling because he and another professional ally wanted to start bouncing ideas off of me. It was total ego boost, and it made me feel really good that they were confident in talking to me like that. I mean, who was this awesome person? Well, it was Jules, who I've mentioned is starting his own podcast, Hustle All Day. So shout out again to Jules. But from then on, he, our friend, and I met roughly monthly, acting as support and a solid kind of think tank for one another in our ventures. It was really powerful, and now, nearly a year later, they are two of those few trusted people I can bounce ideas off of and expect honest feedback. They support what I'm doing and show up at my events. In fact, they were there at my very first Palm Beach Podcasters meetup, where we all met Miss Teresa Chambers, who I just mentioned and mention a lot, and now it's kind of like a dynamic foursome. To know that they're just a call, text, or email away, and that they give a crap is wonderful. And truly, I am lucky for these people for so many reasons. Not only are they just rock-solid humans, but they are all also a great resource of talent. They have made me better, and by helping them back, I gain more and more confidence in what I'm doing as well, and I get better. So who could your inner circle be? It could be your project partners, a group of friends with similar goals, or any other trusted circle that just happens to come together with a bit of kismet and magic, like mine did. And your inner circle can work whether they know each other or not. It depends on what works for you. So find your own smaller circle of professional allies to act as your support and accountability team. I happen to be pulled right into mine, but I'll get into some great tips for more proactively creating your own tribe later in this episode's Learning Curve. Your inner circle, if possible, should also include the support of your friends and family. Now, not everyone qualifies for what I'm talking about. Sure, go ahead and share your achievements and struggles with anybody and everybody. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, who are you going to go to for guidance, advice, and true support? My advice? Keep positive but honest people the closest. People who say yes to everything you say and will never give you tough opinions can be just as dangerous as those eternal naysayers. So look for those people who love you, get what you're doing, support you, and will tell you the truth. In that light, I am also blessed. My pod squad, Jay Cintron and Scotty Fusion, who I know you guys miss hearing from, they will be back, I promise, and my brother Gerard are absolute angels in this capacity. Not only are they great and true friends who genuinely care about me, but they get and support my dreams and goals too. And they're very honest with me. Sometimes it's not the most fun feedback to hear, but truth can be gold. Pure gold. So I send you out into the world knowing that you must, absolutely must, build yourself an inner network. There are so many benefits, from keeping up with the latest trends to keeping your passion ignited, that those who rise to the top often are those who figured this out the soonest. And create both an inner professional circle and an inner personal circle. These can often overlap. I know I used specific examples for each before, but really, the people I mentioned blend into both. The idea is that you have to have people who you know are competent enough to support you professionally and honest and caring enough to support you personally. And with that, let's take it to the learning curve.
Welcome to the learning curve.
All right, Curvis, let's dive right into 3 ways to find your tribe. First, follow and engage people on social media. Find people with quick keyword or hashtag searches on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google+, etc. Also, don't just follow big dogs in your industry. Find people who just seem generally and genuinely engaged in conversations online. Follow also who they follow. On Twitter specifically, create some lists to help keep people straight. For example, I have a podcasting peeps list, a marketing peeps list, different people on different lists. And subscribe to lists that other people have created. Then pull up those lists and check in every once in a while to what's going on and stay current and create online relationships. Facebook groups are also awesome for finding like-minded individuals. A quick search of whatever it is that you're into or trying to do, I'm sure will pull up several. So join a few and find the right 1 to 3 that you can keep up with. On LinkedIn, connect with anybody and everybody you can come up with an excuse to connect with. From people you went to grade school with, through people you love to meet at a convention someday. Make sure you fill in your profile as completely as possible, using lots of relevant keywords to help people find you. Whichever platform, now that you've started making connections, engage, engage, engage. Don't be annoying or act like a creepy stalker, but like and comment on articles, posts, etc. On LinkedIn specifically, don't be shy shelling out those endorsements. Most people return the favor. The more you engage online, the more that certain other profiles will bubble up, and you'll start recognizing, re-engaging with, and forming stronger, productive professional online relationships. Second, remember that greatness can't be born by just sitting behind your computer or on your smartphone all day. Get out and see the world. Meet real people. Some of us have started to actually forget what those are. Sacrilege! Find yourself some in-person groups, such as a local business association, alumni group, or even just start super easy with Meetup. If you haven't heard of it, meetup.com is basically a site where different groups go to schedule when they're going to meet in real life and engage in a certain activity together, talk about a certain thing, or whatever. There are different meetups in just about every town for just about everything you can imagine. It's pretty cool. It's like an online adult playdate scheduler, when the play dates are paddleboarding, writing code, kids' crafts, or any other common interest you can think of. And if you can't find one, the great thing about Meetup is that anyone can create one. So if there isn't one already established, create one and let the like-minded peeps come to you. Aside from Meetup though, Google, and find any local workshops or groups that you can go to. Or if you have the means, financially or just plain creatively, make your way to a convention or conference around what you're going for. If you need any evidence of the power of what I'm talking about, rewind back to episode number 110 and my experience at PodFest. That episode pretty much speaks for itself. Once you're out there in the real world, don't be shy. Be confident and start conversations with people. Get business cards from everyone. And if you're at a big event where you're collecting a ton of them, I advise putting the highest priority business cards in a separate special place, like a separate wallet or something. But then just don't lose it, like I did at PodFest. Oh, I was so lucky that someone turned mine in. Otherwise, I would have lost all those high priority contacts. But when I got back home after that crazy weekend, I had a shorter stack to focus on immediately, and the rest already separated out so I could avoid cluttering my brain. And as you're meeting people, keep notes on them, on how you met, when, where, and what you talked about, and why you need to follow up. Finally, now that you've connected with people online and shaken some humanoid hands, take it to the next level with some real action. Join a local organization, such as an advisory board or volunteer group, or as I suggested before, start your own meetup group. The possibilities are endless as to how you can really get engaged in your industry. See, some of us make the mistake of thinking that it's impossible to get our foot in the door for this reason or that reason. What's true is that most opportunities come not through a resume or a video that was stumbled upon online. Well, those are great, but most come through personal connections. Word of mouth, when done correctly, will always be the most powerful marketing tool. And no one can be a better billboard for you than you. So get out there and get engaged. And that is today's learning curve. How have you built your personal network? I would love to hear from you. Please email me at curvethecube@gmail.com. And if any of these tips helped you out or sparked a new idea, please let me know. This has been your host, Jemmy. Thanks for listening, and get out there and curve those cubes.
You have successfully curved the cube.
Curve the Cube podcast is where dreamers become doers. Through this passion project of mine, your host, Jemmy Lagagne, moi, will inspire you to pursue your own dreams by taking you on an intimate tour of my own journey crafting a dream career. I provide powerful takeaways and action items for you to put into play in changing your own life. Along the way, I talk to other curvists who are doing the same to demystify the process that you too can follow. From actors to artists, musicians to business owners, underwater photographers to crafty creators, and everything in between, Curve the Cube will inspire you to pursue your own dreams and passions. Find your passion, do your thing with the Curve the Cube podcast. Enjoy!